Be mindful of how we use social media. It's not just about the platforms themselves.
To the preservation of the national unity and democratic stability.
Water is life, water is an essential service, and we must have to carry out the residents.
Local communities are not only vital to the growth of society, but they also form the bedrock of humanitarian development.
Beyond the headlines, bringing reporters from the field to give accounts and in-depth analysis of unfolding issues, correspondents' perspectives, ensuring balanced, credible, and comprehensive storytelling. Welcome once again. I am Aniti Patrick. On this edition of the program, in a move to strengthen government communication at the grassroots, the Kano State government has equipped information officers across the 44 local government areas with motorcycles and digital devices to improve coverage and speed up information flow. Commissioner for Information and Internal Affairs, Kano State, Ibrahim Waya, says the intervention is part of the state's digital multimedia program aimed at bridging the communication gap between governments and citizens. Our correspondent, Idris Jibrin, tells us more.
Information officers from the 44 local government areas and zonal information officers converged on the Ministry of Information and Internal Affairs in Kano for the distribution exercise.
I want to use this opportunity to officially launch the distributions of the motorcycles and iPhones to all our information officers.
The Kano State Commissioner for Information and Internal Affairs, Ibrahim Waya, says the event signaled a new phase in the state drive towards digital information management, with the government providing tools designed to improve mobility, efficiency, and real-time communication.
We expect them that this will help them in accessing more information across the local government, particularly at the remote local communities, and bringing out a lot of things that are of concern to the people.
He explained that the equipment will enable them to reach remote communities more effectively, gather credible information, and provide timely feedback to government to support informed decision-making and sustainable development across the state.
Information officers that are working across the 44 local government, many of them face a lot of challenges because sometimes they find it very difficult to access some communities within the local government where they operate in. So this is why we provided this motorcycle. At least motorcycle can have access to all, to every kind of road you can think of, no matter how remote it is in the local community or rural areas, and at the same time also can help them to navigate on probably accessing the needed information that the people really need to know. We do not want them to stay only within the capital of the local government, but rather they should be able to be moving around within the communities of the local government.
According to the Director of Public Enlightenment, Balarabe Kiru, information officers remain critical in connecting government with communities at the grassroots, making timely and accurate dissemination of information essential to good governance.
As you know, you are expected to report facts, not rumors actually. Remember, you are the first line of defense for government image. That is why we are the promoter of what government is doing, so that people they will be aware of the efforts being made by the government in uplifting the life of our common people.
As Kano embraces digital communication, the initiative is expected to transform information management across Kano, bringing government closer to communities and ensuring that no part of the state is left behind in the digital age. From Kano, Idris Jibrin, Global Television News.
And joining us right now, all the way from Kano, is our correspondent Idris Jibrin, who will speak to us on this. Hello, Idris. It's good to have you join us on the Reporter. How have you been?
Fine, thank you. Good afternoon.
Amazing. So let's get to this digital communication drive. Will Kano State's digital communication drive finally bridge the information gap between governments and the grassroots communities?
Well, exactly, that is the idea. You know, a few days ago, the Kano State Commissioner for Information and Internal Affairs launched the multimedia unit as part of the state government's effort to digitize communication. Now, yesterday, the ministry launched the distribution of motorcycles and digital equipment. Now, the idea is to ensure that information from the government to the public is reaching the public smoothly and in accordance with international best practice. You know, we are in a modern age now, the social media age now. In those days, the information officers across the 44 local governments focused their attention only on local government headquarters. So now governments wants to make sure that it's getting information not just from the local government headquarters, but across the entire local government, getting into remote villages and towns to get information that concerns people so that government will be able to make informed decisions. So this is why the motorcycles were distributed to the information officers to be able to access those remote areas, and smartphones, mobile, so that they can be able to send those information as at when due. So this is part of the implementation of the state government.
Let's get to understand the perspective, since it's to get it right. Can these investments, because like you said, we're in digital age, can these investments in digital tools strengthen the accountability? Because that's what we're looking for too, and citizen feedback and inclusive development across the Kano State, because that's one focus this innovation should bring into the people at the grassroots.
Exactly, this is the idea, bridging the and the government. How can you do that? It's when you have information officers with adequate equipment to reach to the grassroots, get information from them, and then quickly transmit that information to the government. Now they have what they call the digital media unit at the ministry, which will be controlling all the information that will be disseminated from the information officers. That is why the smartphones were given to them, and they were also, day before yesterday, about 50 of them were trained on digital media development. Now, the phones that were given to them, they are expected, according to the commissioner, to open a dedicated account that they will be communicating information. In fact, they were given access to make sure that they can publish that information directly from wherever they are. And those government relevant agencies, departments, and agencies of the state government will be able to access that information and act promptly. In fact, including the governor, because the commissioner is saying that once you post information, within few minutes, the governor will get to know about that information and will take appropriate action. So the idea is to bridge that gap. Get this information.
That tells us that with this information drive that the government is putting out, it shows that it also tackles a whole lot of issues around insecurity and also get vital information across from government to the people. It is, if I give you all the time, we'll keep talking. Thank you so much for your time with us. Always a pleasure speaking with you. Be safe and take care. Thank you, Idris.
Thank you.
A lot happening to tackle the information drive to ensure that people get the safety need and information pass across. Well, let's move away from that. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has recorded another major breakthrough in the fight against illicit drugs with the discovery and dismantling of a large-scale methamphetamine laboratory hidden deep inside a forest in Oyo State. The chairman and the chief executive officer, NDLEA Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, made this known while addressing journalists in Abuja. Kikelemo Okere has the rest of the story.
The chairman and the chief executive officer, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, represented by the Director, Media and Advocacy, NDLEA, Femi Babafemi, says 5 suspects, including a 56-year-old Mexican national believed to be cartel's meth production expert, were arrested during the operations. It reveals that operational industrial-scale methamphetamine production facilities was hidden deep within the forest of Tapa village in Ibarapa North local government area of Oyo State. NDLEA boss described the facility as a sophisticated transnational operation capable of producing large volumes of dangerous drugs for distribution within and outside Nigeria. It therefore warns that there will be no hiding place for drug traffickers and manufacturers operating anywhere in the country.
The arrest of a foreign cartel specialist on Nigerian soil underscores the transnational nature of this threat. But more importantly, it underscores our agency's world-class intelligence capability to track, intercept, and neutralize them. Following the successful raid, a specialized team from our Directorate of Forensic and Chemical Monitoring moved in on June 18, 2026 to conduct a rigorous forensic examination of the facility. What they uncovered is a massive factory-level production line of poison.
He further added that the laboratories was fully stocked with a frightening array of precursor chemicals, industrial catalysts, and heavy-duty processing equipment.
Chemicals and materials recovered include phenyl 2-to-propanone, that's P2P, which is the main highly controlled precursor required for methamphetamine synthesis. 1,800-liter drums containing phenylactic acid, that is the primary precursor used to synthesize. 2 180-liter drums containing a staggering 300 liters of whitish crystalline substance. 4 180-liter drums containing dark liquid undergoing synthesis.
The NDLEA boss, however, commended officers involved in the operations and urged Nigerians to continue providing credible intelligence to support the fight against drug trafficking and abuse. Kike Lomo Ukeri, Global TV News.
And joining me live right now is Kikelemo Okere to bring us up to speed because a lot of questions have been asked around this particular methamphetamine factory. Hello, Kike. It's good to have you join me on the reporter today. Have you been?
Good, Annie. How are you?
Great. Let's get down to this conversation because concerns or questions have been asked. How did a sophisticated methamphetamine factory operate undetected deep inside an Oyo forest? And let me just match this. What does the arrest of this Mexican meth production expert reveal about the growing transnational nature of drug trafficking in Nigeria?
Actually, several factors likely contributed to the ability to syndicate to operate for extended period without detection. Like criminal groups often choose remote forest location because they believe it is hidden, nobody can quickly get into that place because they are difficult to access and far from the normal routine law enforcement patrols. You know, such location also help conceal suspicious activity such as the movement of chemicals, equipment, and personnel associated with illicit drug production. And in addition, the drug cartel typically rely on secrecy and local contributors to avoid attracting attention. This incident also highlights the need for stronger intelligence gathering, improved surveillance of remote areas, as well as closer monitoring of movement of precursor chemicals used in drug manufacturing.
that has to do with you, and then we'll speak on that because there's a whole lot in terms of intelligence gathering that we need to speak on. Please stay with me while I get this. Well, the Nigerian Customs Service has intensified its crackdown on smuggling activities by the seizures of prohibited imports worth over 273.6 million naira across Cross River and Akwa Ibom states. Addressing journalists in Calabar, the Customs Area Controller for the Cross River Calabar Free Trade Zone Akwa Ibom Area Command, Controller Momo Daud, said the seizures were made during intelligence-led anti-smuggling operations within the command's area of responsibility. Again, Kikela Mokere tells us more.
The Customs Area Controller for Cross River Calabar Free Trade Zone Akwa Ibom Area Command, Controller Muhammadu Dauda, disclosed that operatives intercepted two 20-foot containers loaded with 1,996 kegs of imported refined vegetable oil along the Udupani-Calabar Highway. In a separate operation carried out earlier, it reveals that custom officers seized 800 liters of premium motor spirit suspected to be intended for smuggling across the borders. The latest seizures brings the total volume of PMS intercepted by the command this year to 5,760 liters. The seized fuel has since been disposed of in line with safety regulations due to its highly inflammable nature.
The intercepted and seizure are in line with the provisions of Section 55 of the Nigeria Customs Service Act 2023, as well as the applicable trade regulation governing prohibited imports.
The command also intercepted 1,500 imported used tires of various brands, as well as 1,005 jumbo bills of second-hand clothing valued at more than 61.3 million naira and 15.6 million naira respectively. Comptroller Dauda explained that the seized items fall under the federal government import prohibition list and were confiscated in accordance with the provision of the Nigerian Customs Act 2023 and existing trade regulations. He noted that restrictions are aimed at protecting local industries, safeguarding public health, preserving environmental standards, and supporting the federal government's economic diversification drive.
Free Trade Zone and Akwa Ibom Area Command remains resolute and unwavering in suppressing smuggling, facilitating legitimate trade, protecting national security, and contributing meaningfully to Nigeria's economic growth and development.
The Custom Area Controller, however, warns smugglers to abandon illegal trade activities, stressing that the service will continue to deploy intelligence-driven operations to protect the economy, facilitate legitimate trade, and strengthen national security. Kike Lomo Okere, Global TV News.
Hello, Kike, it's good to have you join me back. And let's talk about this signs about illegal or how this can be.
Hello, Annie. I can't hear you. The line is
local industries, while ensuring legitimate traders are not unfettered by gossip to be.
Hello, Annie. Can you hear me?
Okay, if you can hear me now. I said, how can Nigeria better protect local industries while ensuring legitimate trade be affected by anti-smuggling policies?
Intelligence operation has become one of the most effective tools in combating smuggling because they shift enforcement from routine checkpoints to targeted intervention based on credible information and risk analysis. Rather than waiting for smugglers to cross the borders, Customs can also identify routes, networks, warehouses, as well as financiers behind the illegal trades. This approach has led to significant seizures of contraband and improved arrest of key players in smuggling syndicates. However, the vast nature of Nigeria's border means intelligence gathering must be a continuous and supported by technology, interagency collaboration, and community participation to achieve last success.
I get you, but one concern that's a whole lot around customer. I'm happy that we now have effective intelligence-led custom operations curbing this smuggling across Nigeria's border communities, which is actually telling from what we've seen. And of course, questions will be, will that be enough to stop the Okay, Sim Kike has some technical glitches there. She can hear me, but of course.
I can hear you now. You said what? Please, can you repeat yourself?
Basically, concerns will be at enforcement measures enough to stop the illegal importation of banned goods and petroleum products.
Hello, Annie, can you hear me?
It seems we have that technical glitches. I just want to know if the enforcement is enough to stop the illegal importation. Just in a minute, if you can hear me.
Nigeria does need to strike a balance by adopting targeted and predictable trade policies that distinguish between legitimate business operators and criminal networks.
Amazing conversation there with you. We appreciate your time with us. Well, let's move away from outside the shores of Nigeria, where the resignation of United Kingdom Prime Minister Keir Starmer has sparked mixed reactions across London, with many residents expressing frustration over the country's economic challenges and growing political uncertainty. While some see the developments as an opportunity for a fresh start, others doubt a new leader will bring immediate change to their daily lives. Agumofebe tells us more.
The Prime Minister's announcement of his resignation has triggered a leadership contest within the governing Labour Party. People in central London expressed frustration, uncertainty, and cautious hope following the announcement. A lawyer, Alan Collins, described the resignation as good news for the country, arguing that Britain faces major challenges that require stronger leadership. He also warned that frequent changes of Prime Minister could create further instability.
For the country, because the country has got so many challenges and problems that need addressing, and they are not being met or addressed.
Medical student Phoebe Ploje-Porte said that many people wanted change and felt disappointed by Labour's record since taking office. She expressed concern about the growing popularity of Reform UK, noting that she believes former Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham would be the strongest candidate to challenge the party.
People do want change. I think that no one is happy with the way that things are at the moment, and things feel rubbish, and the sort of promised thing when Keir Starmer got into power has not materialised.
Starmer had earlier announced he would step down as Labour leader while remaining caretaker Prime Minister until a successor is chosen, paving the way for Britain to have its 7th Prime Minister in just over a decade.
Well, there you have it on the program. Thank you for being a part of the program, The Reporter. And a quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276, and on Free TV. To stay connected, kindly follow us across all socials using @Global TV NG. I am Aniti.
Be mindful of how we use social media. It's not just about the platforms themselves.
To the preservation of the national unity and democratic stability.
Water is life, water is an essential service, and then we must have to carry out the residents.
Local communities are not only vital to the growth of society, but they also form the bedrock of humanitarian development.